The last time you opened your banking app, your thumb hovered for a second before you tapped. Maybe 2 seconds. Maybe you closed it entirely and told yourself you'd check later. That hesitation has a name in neuroscience, and it has nothing to do with laziness. Your brain processes financial uncertainty through the anterior insula, the same region that activates when you touch something hot or see an open wound. Somewhere in your history, checking a number was paired with a feeling that burned. An overdraft notice in college, a parent's face when the bills came, a moment where knowing the truth felt worse than not knowing. Your nervous system took notes, and it's been running that same avoidance protocol ever since, quietly, in the background, like software you forgot you installed. Think about how you handle it now. You estimate instead of checking. You round up when you're feeling optimistic, round down when anxiety creeps in. You carry a vague sense of your finances, close enough to function, fuzzy enough to avoid the sting. This strategy works the way holding your breath underwater works. It buys time, it solves nothing. The clinical term is experiential avoidance, and researchers at the University of Nottingham found it predicts financial outcomes more reliably than income level or financial literacy. They struggle because their nervous system has flagged the entire domain as dangerous. Every bill, every statement, every login screen carries a faint electrical charge of dread. So they develop workarounds. Auto-pay everything and never review it. Let the receipts pile up in a shoebox. Delegate to a partner and quietly opt out. And those workarounds feel like responsibility. That's the trap. You've convinced yourself the system runs fine without your attention. But avoidance compounds the same way interest does. Slowly, invisibly, then all at once. A subscription you forgot charges for 11 months. A fee you could have disputed if you'd caught it in 30 days. A credit score dipping because a payment bounced and you didn't notice for 6 weeks. Each one small. Together, they redraw your financial life in ways you never consciously chose. Here's what makes this pattern so stubborn. The avoidance itself generates relief. You decide you'll check your account tomorrow. Immediately, the tension drops. Your brain registers that drop as a reward. Tomorrow comes, and the same logic applies. Why feel the tension now when you can feel relief by pushing it one more day? Neuroscientists call this negative reinforcement, and it's the same mechanism that keeps people from opening medical test results or checking their grades after an exam. The behavior that protects you from short-term pain becomes the thing generating long-term damage. But the brain that learned this pattern can learn a different one. That's where the science gets practical. Exposure therapy, the gold standard for phobia treatment, works by introducing the feared stimulus in controlled graduated doses until the threat response weakens. A person afraid of elevators starts by looking at a photo of one, then standing near one, then riding one floor. The brain updates its threat model with each exposure that doesn't end in catastrophe. Your bank account is the elevator, and you can apply the same graduated approach. Start with what researchers call a minimal viable check. Open the app, look at the balance. Close the app. That's it. You just need your nervous system to register that seeing the number didn't cause the pain it predicted. Do this daily for a week. The dread will peak around day 2 or 3. Exposure research consistently shows the anxiety spike comes early, then drops faster than people expect. By the second week, something shifts. The number starts feeling like information instead of a verdict. Your balance stops being a judgment of your character and starts being a data point, a coordinate on a map. You need coordinates to navigate. You've been walking through your financial life with your eyes half shut, bumping into furniture and blaming yourself for the bruises. A woman named Sarah, a therapist herself, described her own financial avoidance in a case study published in the Journal of Financial Therapy. She earned a comfortable salary, she had a graduate degree, she understood behavioral patterns professionally, and she still went 18 months without opening a single bank statement. When she finally did, the damage was manageable. A few $100s in unnecessary fees, a retirement contribution that had been going to the wrong account. The fear had been worse than the reality. It almost always is. That gap between the imagined catastrophe and the actual situation is where the healing lives. Your nervous system has been budgeting for a disaster that in most cases already happened years ago. The shame you're flinching from is historical. The numbers on the screen are current. Those are two different things, and your brain has been treating them as one. There's a subtlety worth sitting with. Financial avoidance often disguises itself as financial irresponsibility, and the shame of that label makes the avoidance worse. You internalize a story. I'm the kind of person who can't handle money. And that story becomes its own justification for not looking. Why check if you already know you're bad at this? The identity hardens around the avoidance like scar tissue around a wound, and soon you can't tell where the behavior ends and the self-concept begins. Breaking that loop requires one uncomfortable admission. You've been protecting yourself from a feeling and calling it a character flaw. The flinch came first. The story about who you are came second. Reverse the order, and the whole structure loosens. You need 10 seconds of looking at a number your body has been telling you to avoid. 10 seconds where you stay present with the data and notice, really notice, that you survived the looking. That the stove you've been flinching from has been unplugged for years. Tomorrow morning, before the day builds its usual momentum, open the app. Read the number. Breathe. Close it. That's 1 rep. The muscle builds from there. And 6 months from now, when you check your balance the way you check the weather, casually, reflexively, without bracing, you'll realize the version of you who was afraid of a number on a screen was already becoming someone else. One glance at a time.